Good evening, Mr. Bond fans, and welcome once again. It was really difficult to pick a single clip from Bond film to represent the overall feeling of 2020, so here are a few. Think that pretty much sums it up. Oh wait, I forgot January and February.
First a boy, and then a girl.
By this point, I figured that by now we'd all have seen No Time to Die in cinemas, we'd all own the Blu-ray, and we'd be debating spoilers and hot take articles online. Who'd have thought, though, that 2020 would go this way? Well, certainly not me, as judged by this July 2019 livestream. Do you reckon Bond 25 will be delayed till November 2019? I don't think so. I think we're at a point now where if it was going to be delayed... Oh, November 2020, yes, sorry. Yeah, I think we're past the point now where they could do any more delays, unless there is something like really horrifically bad that happens. So obviously never come to me for predictions about the future. Maybe this is the reason why my career as a clairvoyant never took off. Hey Calvin, me and the wife are wondering what the best time to book our honeymoon would be and where to go. Can you help us out? The cards are telling me that late March to early April is a really great time to visit Wuhan. I hope it goes without saying that the concerns of a fan for a film series is really a very tiny speck of half-digested sweet corn in a vast ocean of crap that is 2020. But nonetheless, in this video I'm going to be recapping some of the major James Bond-related events that did, or mostly didn't, happen this year, including the most obvious one, the fact that 2020 was not going to be the year that we would all be experiencing the latest James Bond film on the big screen. Things did start out pretty well, though, in 2020. We were all fresh off a new exciting trailer from 2019, and the promotional blitz was continuing with exciting new snippets in trailers for the Super Bowl and Oscars. Believe it or not, there was a time where fans would get super excited about every single little snippet or clip that would come out of No Time to Die. At this point, though, I feel like we've been so inundated with trailers and clip snippets and all that kind of thing that we're halfway to assembling the film itself out of all of these clips. There was still some drama on the production front, with Hans Zimmer replacing Dan Romer as the film's composer. I don't think anyone can earnestly spin the story that the production history of Bond 25 has been anything other than a saga in its own right. In fact, I look forward to the dramatization of the making of the film, starring Olivia Colman as Barbara Broccoli and Mark Rylance as Michael G. Wilson. And there was indeed a great amount of contention amongst the fandom about the news that the film's title theme was to be sung by Billie Eilish. Who? Barked most everyone over the age of 25 without teenage daughters to question, regardless of whether you like the song or not. And I really do, by the way. It was an exciting moment in the build-up to the film. It was getting a lot of talk time on chat shows and news outlets, more new clips from the film were a cause for great excitement. There were less than 2 months to go until the film was due to come out. Could the excitement be any more palpable? Yeah, if you're watching this, you've probably already heard the news that the 25th Bond film, No Time to Die, has had its release date pushed back from April 2020 to November 2020. Bond was the first major movie post moment of 2020 due to COVID, and as a result of that at the time, the move produced a great deal more eyebrow raisers than Roger Moore would make in a Soho sex shop. However, it was very much soon proven that it was indeed the right thing to do, and Bond was somewhat ahead of the curve in postponing in this way. Besides, November 2020 wasn't that far away, and Bond films traditionally come out in the autumn time anyway, so it feels more appropriate, and the whole virus thing would totally be over by then, as we all sit in Dukes in London with our Vesper martinis waiting for the whole thing to blow over. Good evening, Mr. Bond fans, and welcome once again to news that was always perhaps inevitable, that yes, indeed, No Time to Die has had its release date pushed back yet again, this time to April 2021. Yeah, it turns out COVID didn't go anywhere after all, and here we are once again counting down the months until the release of No Time to Die, which is currently slated for April 2021, but I would say that the chances of it actually coming out then are precisely 0. Speaking from a fan perspective, in many ways I feel like the October delay hurt an awful lot more than the earlier March delay earlier on in the year. Towards the end of summer 2020, it was looking less and less likely that things would be returning back to normal within the year, and fans were already of the frame of mind that a November release for No Time to Die was not going to happen in 2020, and I feel like most of us had actually made peace with that. But then towards the end of summer, what's this? New poster, new trailer, music video, podcast, commercial partner ads? The promotional hype machine was blowing up faster than a wannabe drug baron swallowing a compressed gas pellet. How could they throw all of this at us and not release the damn balls.
Bolus, 007.
Now, obviously, I understand that there are a lot of contract-triggering timelines and stuff that led to this, but it doesn't stop general fan disappointment when it happens, particularly when, like I say, so many of us were really just coming back around to the idea that, holy heck, they're actually gonna be able to release this thing, only to be left deflated again. Of course, though, you kind of have to be just very understanding about this. I mean, cinemas either closed again or remained closed in many countries around the world, and it was obviously going to be the right thing to do. The experience for fans to view the film safely is paramount, as well as the success of the film itself. They want it to make a lot of money and be seen by as big an audience as possible, so from that perspective, obviously, it was the right thing to do, but it doesn't stop the disappointment that a fan feels reading the news. As of publishing this video, the film is currently slated to release in April 2021. We'll see if it does, but my money would be on another push. To when exactly? Who knows? I can't imagine they'd want to compete too closely with a new Mission Impossible film, so I'm not too sure about a November 2021 release, and the idea that it would go to streaming at any point seems a bit far out at the moment, but that's a topic for another video. Right now, we end 2020 much like we started it, patiently waiting for Bond 25 to finally hit cinemas. Of course, much sadder Bond film-related news can be found elsewhere in 2020, as the year contained a lot of very notable passings of 007 alumni. This video is not an in memoriam video to all of those people who left us, but it should really be said, first of all, that thoughts are obviously with the family and friends of those who did die this year. Fan grief is a really weird thing, and I'm only really going to talk about the passing of Sean Connery specifically here because that news really genuinely shook me up, and when I saw it on October 31st of this year, I mean, I'm just a fan, right? So I never met the man or anything like that, and yet I cried that day over the news, and it feels really weird to say that, and obviously it's incomparable to how devastated his own family must have been around that time, and hey, I mean, you know what, the guy was 90 years old, he lived an incredible life, he left a legacy that will endure for as long as human beings appreciate cinema, and, you know, he passed away in his sleep at home in the Bahamas, so there's plenty of solace to be taken in the fact that he lived life to the full, and he's left behind a legacy. But it was still a cause for mourning, and reading stories about his life and appreciating his work, and I sure as hell spent that night watching his films, getting slowly but steadily pissed on vodka martinis, and I know a good few of you watching this video will have done exactly the same. It was certainly another reason for Bond fans to not look back on 2020 with anything but disdain, that's for sure. Shifting gears to talk about some of the more positive outcomes of 2020 for Bond fans feels quite trivial after talking about that, but there were nonetheless a couple of aspects of Bond fandom in 2020 that I certainly got excited about. The first being that a new Bond game was announced, finally! There was no release date or much in the way of detail in the announcement, but considering all the delays to No Time to Die and no announcement yet about the future of the film series after that, it was terrific to see that there is still planned life for James Bond after the latest film releases. So this might come as a surprise to a lot of you, as I don't know if I often touch upon this on this channel, but I'm a pretty big fan of James Bond video games. And the fact that finally, after 8 years, there was something new on the horizon was such a rare bit of good news in the murk of the rest of 2020.
Still rolling. You still there? Are you awake? Wake up.
A few other things that would only have happened in 2020 were a couple of GoldenEye watch-alongs, one featuring a solo Pierce Brosnan and another featuring Martin Campbell and Famke Janssen. The latter came from Cineflex and was such a fun time. Martin and Famke recalled some super interesting and fun memories between them, speaking quite candidly about their experiences with the film and with Bond as a wider universe. There were some technical issues here and there, but this is 2020. It wouldn't feel right without someone saying, "Can you hear me?" or "You're on mute" on a video call. The Brosnan watch-along, however...
Okay, time for a question. Thank God for these questions. Really.
Look, I don't want to dig on this too much at all. I love Pierce Brosnan, and he was doing this completely solo. But, you know, having someone else on the line prompting questions and memories would have been really beneficial. As it stands, he was left alone with a printout of questions and spent a good chunk of time sifting through them to see if there was anything worth talking about.
There has to be more questions. Some of them are rather silly.
I can't help but feel like when he said that, he was referring to a question from one of my Diminishing Returns podcast co-hosts, Sol Harris, who asked, did anyone call Sean Bean Mr. Bean during filming? And if so, did he take it in good humour or get angry about it? And yet, it was still somewhat very exciting to sit watching Pierce Brosnan watching his most popular Bond adventure and recall memories and stories here and there, and this is truly something that we only had to experience because of the global situation. To potentially end on something quite soppy, honestly, the main highlight for me from a Bond fan perspective this year has really been in the fan community. Not a day has gone by where I haven't been in a part of or seen a funny exchange between Bond fans on Twitter, or, you know, seen a really funny meme on Facebook, or just listened to a new Bond podcast, or seen something else, seen a video from another Bond tuber that they've created and released on here. With being stuck at home in lockdown and everything, I feel like I've never had greater opportunities to collaborate with other content makers, be it, you know, the fun debate videos with David Zaritsky, The Bond Experience, or having a laugh on being James Bond, Joe Darlington's trivia livestream, or being in the 00 Files podcast trivia challenge series, or reading a book to keep up with the Fleming reading challenge, or the absolute joy it has been to join the gang at the James Bond and Friends podcast for a watch-along commentary over every film in the Bond series. I've learned so much through everything I've participated in this year, and those are just a few, and I hope that that continues into 2021. I may sound like a broken record on this front now, because I know I've said this before, but seriously, personally, for me, like, making these silly, stupid Bond videos and putting them on YouTube has been a real contributing factor towards me keeping my sanity this year. I've barely been able to see, like, friends in real life and family and all that kind of stuff, so the fact that I'm leaving 2020 with a feeling that, like, wow, I've made new friends this year and strengthened, you know, friendships in ways that I didn't think I would through just engaging in this fan community, that is, you know, if there's anything for me to hold up out of the pile of bird guano that is 2020, it's gonna be that. So normally I would probably wrap this up by talking about what we Bond fans have to look forward to in 2021, but given that release dates, schedules, and plans mean nothing anymore, it's kind of hard to say, and I'm honestly quite guarded about what I get hyped about now, after being disappointed a few times already this year. So the main question is, obviously, will we see No Time to Die in 2021? I hope so. As for when exactly and where, who knows? The only thing I can be certain of is that I will keep making videos for this channel. I know other Bond tubers will keep creating content as well. I know that the James Bond and Friends podcast will be releasing new episodes. Same with many other Bond podcasts as well. I know there will always be Twitter polls and cool Instagram posts and Facebook debates to be had, and the knowledge that the Bond fandom will always be there and ready to chat and make entertaining stuff to watch and appreciate this great series that we all love is just more than a quantum of solace that I'll be taking out of 2020. So on that note, stay tuned for more videos soon. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already to stay up to date on those videos, and until next time, Bond fans, so long for now.